I don't know about you, but nothing says like Yorkshire like good fish and chips. You agree with me, don't you, chums? Has to be in paper, has to be a lot of salt and vinegar, and has to have bits. Do you call them bits? We call them batter bits, I think, up here. The scraps, all sorts of stuff. Wherever you go up and down the United Kingdom, there's another phrase for them. But nonetheless, we get told, don't we, time and time again, they're not particularly good for you. It's a little bit like this particular story. Some might say, of course, that jam isn't particularly good for you. More so if you are Gwyneth Paltrow. As ever, let me explain. Hi, nice to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time today. Lovely to have your company. I often like to be in glamorous locations. You know what I'm saying, chums? Absolutely. Could you get a more glamorous location than sitting out on a bench having fish and chips? Well, they're opening soon if you want to come over. Well, yes, we'll have to share a fish. They're not cheap, are they? £5 a piece? Ooh, no, you can't afford it, can you? Well, I could afford the batter. I'm not sure about the fish anymore. That's the problem. Now, the problem, of course, as we've seen with Gwyneth Paltrow and Meghan Markle, is this ongoing battle because, as we've now seen, Gwyneth has taken sides with a particular company after Meghan declared her company as ever, or whatever it's called, in a battle, you know. And when you think about it, you would have thought that these two divas, both actresses of a certain level, might have wanted to club up together. I don't mean as friends, but I mean, you know, friendly rivalry. But this is Hollywood. There's never friendly rivalry, is there? Both are vying for the very same market. Goop, of course, is quite nutty when you look at it. Some of the outrageous prices, which were fine before when people didn't have a cost of living crisis. Now they do. There's an even bigger problem. And for Meghan Markle, as we know, jam's her thing. I'm glad she pointed that out. She's never mentioned it before. But the bigger issue is this, you see, according to a source. Remember, cast your mind back, right, chums, remember when Meghan was sending out those pots of jam, yeah? And they were in those baskets with that sort of straw, I think is the best word to put it. A few lemons sashayed round. And then people like Nachos and the other friends, oh, it's delicious, breakfast sorted. I could never get that enthused about a pot of jam, could you, really? Let's be brutally honest. But here's where it gets really interesting, because according to a very well-placed source, the real rock of this problem was the fact that it all started when Meghan was sending out the pots of jam. Now, cast your mind back, if you remember, they were labelled 1 to 50. And as we know, certain people got them and refused to promote them, as ever, allegedly. But that is the story, you know. She sent them round to quite a few people, including, according to that well-placed source, this actress, Gwyneth Paltrow. Now, I think where it's gone wrong, and I'm just surmising here, but this would be my thing, is, you see, if you're making them number 17 or 32 or whatever, you've got to be very clear why they're actually that number, particularly in the thorny topic of faded Hollywood stars. And more so, you see, if you're Gwyneth Paltrow and you're trying to get in a market that she has literally taken by storm for at least a couple of years. And as I told you recently, I've met Gwyneth, nice enough person, but not particularly friendly to the underlings, you know, very much like, you're here, I'm there, don't speak to me. In fact, I remember we were told that we were not to look at her as she walked. It's tricky, actually, when you sat opposite the door. You're not supposed to look. You know, ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, you know, who would have recognised her unless she told you? The security man didn't. So there you go. But back to the jam. According to that source, who now no longer works in the employ, Meghan did send round 50 jars of jam. Absolutely 100%. Many went, well, without being reported. As you know, they're all given a sort of semi-script to put out to Instagram and say how marvellous it was and if you could and all that sort of stuff. And according to that source, Gwyneth Paltrow was not only stunned, appalled and left dismayed as to why she'd received it, but like quite a few Hollywood stars, she decided against being Meghan's free publicity. And apparently this is the real reason underneath why the ruck has evolved. It's always good to clear it up, isn't it? Because there's always a deeper story behind the scenes that people don't realise. Neil Sean, about to get a bag of chips in the very heart of Yorkshire.